Okay, Evan fans, YouTube fans, what we're going to do over the next couple of days, I don't like to do this in one day, but it can be done in one day. But now when you hold a full-time job, it's quite a bit of work. But we're going to do a transom replacement in this boat. This is I'd say it's an early 90s Glastron, had a wooden transom in it. It belongs to a neighbor of mine, and he brought it to me last year. Said his bilge pump wasn't working, wanted me to fix his bilge pump. Well, when I leaned on his motor, the whole transom about fell off the boat, and you can see here, there's they've got splitting in here. The wood is rotted away. This is delaminating from the wood. I'm not a full-time fiberglass guy, but having done this kind of work all my life, I've had a lot of experience in it, and I got a lot of friends that are experts in it, that have given me tips and tricks throughout my career. So what I'm going to do is this is going to be a complete and total transom replacement. We're not going to replace this up in here because this doesn't have much bearing. It does a little bit, but not so much as the lower portion. I could have charged them an extra $500 and then done this up here, but I don't see any need in it. We're gonna go all the way across here with it, and all the way across the other side with it, and that's the way we're going to do it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to start out by kind of drawing a line where I'm going to cut out. Now, before I cut this, I'm going to grind this area down, and I'm going to grind this area down to about half the thickness of this glass. And what that's going to do is, first off, the reason I'm doing it before I cut it is because it's held in place now. All this is held in place, so I've got something strong that I'm working against. I'm not working against a piece of fiberglass flapping in the breeze, which is it's a harder way to do things, and you can't be as accurate with your tools. So I'm going to grind. This will be my approximate cut line in here. I'm going to grind this down to about 2 inches each way. And that's going to allow a spot for when I reglass this in, and I put a piece of fiberglass matting along here and then glass over it. It's not going to bulge out. It's going to be, it's going to fit into the recessed portion that we create right here. After I grind it, I'm going to go ahead and cut this. I'm going to cut this all the way around like this, down through here. Once that's cut out, I'm going to attempt to, and I think with this wooden transom it'll work. I'm going to try to just pull this whole skin off. Once I pull this skin off, I'll be able to laminate, put a couple of layers of woven woving, or however it's called. I'll show you the actual glass. They call it woven woving, and it's a very strong mat. It's a structural mat. We're going to put a couple of pieces on the inside of this actual skin that I removed, and we're going to put a couple of pieces on the inside of the transom, the portion that's going to be remaining on the boat. Then once that's done, I'm going to reattach this. I'm going to reattach this skin. I'm going to get rid of all these through hole fittings. All that stuff's going to go. We're going to reattach this skin, and once we reattach this skin, then we're going to pour it with fiberglass resin. And as we pour it, I'm going to have a whole bunch of chopped up mat, and I'm going to take a steel rod, and we're going to pour some resin in it, and then we're going to take some of the fiberglass chopped up mat, and we're going to dip that in resin and make sure it's completely saturated. We're going to stuff it down in there, and we're going to pour a little bit more, and at the same time with that batch that we've got mixed up, we're going to have fiberglass chopped up mat in there, and we're going to make sure that's completely saturated. We're going to stuff that down in there. So basically what this is going to end up being is a conglomerate of chopped up fiberglass mat and fiberglass resin poured through the entire transom. That is going to make a seriously strong transom that will outlast the boat and the motor and everything else. And when it comes time to discard this boat, this piece is going to be there for the next 100 years. My boat, I did my boat the same way. This is my 81 Cobia 15.6 Sunskip. What I did to mine, because mine wasn't as bad and it didn't have the stress fractures down through here. What I did with mine was I removed the top of the splash well area. I took a chainsaw and I ran a chainsaw down in there and I cleaned all the wood out with the chainsaw. And then once I had all the wood out of there, once I had all that area cleaned out, I did the same thing by filling the transom with saturated fiberglass mat that's been chopped up and pouring straight fiberglass in there. This transom is as tall as it gets. This boat I think was rated for a 75 horse. I've got my if you want to read that, yeah, that's what it is. And it's 115 horsepower. See, I customized the back of it instead of BRP. It's yeah, my initials Brian Nicholas Hudson. Pretty interesting. A lot. You can get decals made. You can do anything you want. Like when I did this, most people don't even realize what it says until they look at it really closely. But it's just a little customization I like to do to my stuff. You know, personalize a little bit. But this transom here, you can see I've got an offset 6-inch Bob's Machine Shop jack plate on it, which adds a lot more force. Once you offset a motor, it's adding a lot more force to the transom. But this sucker, there is no flex in it. It's an excellent way to ensure that you're going to have a transom that's going to last you the rest of your life. Now you can do it in wood if you want something that's going to last, 10, 12, 15 years, 20 years maybe. It depends on how good of a job you do. But if you do a solid glass transom, it's the price it just about offsets itself. It's more, you spend more on glass, but you spend less in wood. If you use marine plywood, you're going to spend $150 on marine plywood, but you spend $150 on 5 gallons of glass. So, that offsets itself, and the solid glass transom is never going to go away. So, I'm going to begin by removing all the trim work. All this trim work is going to go away. I'm going to remove his stainless transom bracket here. I'm going to get all that. Once I get all that taken out, I'm going to cut the ends of the through hole fittings off so I can push them through the boat. Then I'm going to do my grinding work, and then I'm going to do my cutting. I'm going to do that off camera, but then I'll come in and I'll show examples. Once I get each stage of the work done, I'm going to show examples of what it should look like and what you're looking for when you're doing this. Anybody can do this. This is not something that it's not something that takes a tremendous amount of experience. However, it is miserable work. I do recommend, and if I can find mine, here it is. Go to Home Depot or Lowe's or 84 Lumber, wherever you live, whoever you got. Get you one of these coverall suits. They're about $10, and you can put gloves on and affix the sleeves of the gloves, and it really help from getting fiberglasses in places that you don't want it, because it's going to end up everywhere, and you don't want it. Also, a lot of people react to fiberglass differently than others. Personally, it doesn't bother me that much, so it's not that big of a deal. But the clothing that you wear, you're going to want to wash that clothing separate from your wife's clothing, from your kids' clothing, because it will transfer to the other clothing in the machine. Just make sure that wash all that clothing separate and do it 2 or 3 times and dry it, and that'll remove the majority of the fibers that'll be stuck in your clothes. My neighbors across the street over there are doing a spring cleanup here on on their trees. They're cutting a bunch of trees down and stuff. So that's what you're hearing in the background with all the chainsaws. Other than that, Evan Rude and YouTube fans, I'm going to go ahead and begin removing all of our metals, all of our trim work, and cutting out and getting this thing cut out. So after each stage, I'm going to pick up the camera, turn it back on, show you what I did and why I did it. So for now, I'm going to get going on this. Okay, Evan Rude, YouTube, and all whatever kind of fans you are, boat fans, Transom fans, fiberglass fans. Anyway, what I've done here, you can see, is we removed all the metals, all the support brackets, and everything else from there. We took a scraper and scraped all the caulking off of it. Then what I basically did, and you can see the little smiley face there. I went all the way through the gel coat down into the substrate glass, and then went a little bit deeper into that and get myself, in between a 32nd and a 16th of an inch of room there. That'll help for when I go to fill in to make it meet up nice and even. It should give me plenty of room for filler. That way I can go back and sand it down and it'll all be nice and flush when I'm done. This isn't going to be a perfect job, and I told this guy when I got into it, but the boat's kind of beat up anyway. You can see, well, once he found out his transom was done, he left it sit under a tree in his yard for a year. So I'm glad I'm not part of that cleanup. But this is what it looks like. Let me get you a little closer here. You can see it. We've went through the gel coat, eaten down into the actual glass itself. Went all the way down along the edge. Of course, I knocked all those through-hole fittings out that were plastic. So I just took a chisel and broke them out because I'm going to replace them all. And that's about it. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut down the center of that area that I cut out. I'm going to cut down the center of that all the way around, and then we're going to pull that whole piece of glass off the back. And yeah, that's about it. So I'm going to get off the air right now, off the camera right now. I'm going to go ahead and make that cut, show you what that cut looks like, and then I'm going to pull the back of that glass off, and then I'm going to go get me a beer. So anyway, I'll get back with you in a minute. Okay, everybody fans, I got it all cut out right there, and next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get a chisel. You can see I've started running a chisel into here and getting this all to separate. It's getting later on in the day, so what I'm going to do is I live in the inner city down here in Clearwater, so I'm gonna go to the store and get me some beer. It's always fun to do dressed like this. Okay, YouTube fans, you can see that I got it all cut out, and what I'm doing is I'm taking one of these, running it down inside here, and gently working the outer skin off. I'm going to continue doing that until I got the complete outer skin off of it. And once I got the outer skin off of it, then I'll break out a chainsaw. And what wood that doesn't peel away, I mean, because you can see, I mean, this is marine plywood, but it's done. It's absolutely done. What I can't peel away, by hand and with a crowbar and stuff, I'll take a chainsaw and I'll get in there with the nose of the chainsaw and do that. Always follow your recommended safety procedures when you're doing all this stuff. It's when you're using the tip of a chainsaw, it's easy for to get a kickback, and that can be a dangerous situation. So other than that, I'm gonna keep peeling this off, and once I got it peeled off, I'll turn back on for a second. I'll show you what it looks like peeled off, and this is gonna be an ongoing deal. If you watch it segment by segment as you do yours, then it'll probably help you, because most of this is just grunt work. There's a little bit of an explanation and a lot of labor involved in the meantime. So we'll just work. I'll work on mine, you work on yours, and we'll get her done. All right, YouTube, Evan Rude, and all the rest of you fans, Transom fans, Glasstron fans. This is actually a '79 Glasstron, so 35-year-old Transom. Right, roughly, yeah. It's done okay. It's done okay. Anyway, okay. Bye. Okay, I did just what I said I was going to do. I gently worked from one side to the middle, and then from the other side to the middle. Don't try to work the whole thing out, because you'll end up with a thin spot on the end down there that may want to crack off and break your skin. Work from one side that way till you get close to the center, then come over here and work from this side and work that way, and that way you got a nice big thick piece in the middle. It's not gonna want to fracture on you, and once you get it all down, it'll just pop off. This is what we have here. This is the piece that we took out of there. Now it's a nice piece of gel coated glass. Once I get it all cleaned up, I'll run the DA sander across it and clean it all up. When I go to put it back, when it's all going back together, when I'm doing a finish coat on it. This transom was I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying anything bad about Glasstron boats. They've got good. They handle good, and they're a pretty they're a comfortable boat to ride in, but nowadays you got so many. When this boat was built, fiberglass was just coming on the market. There was very few solid fiberglass boats. I owned a 31 Trojan Sport Fisher that was a solid glass boat, and it was so solid glass that the boat weighed about 3,000 pounds more than it needed to, because they overdid it. They didn't understand the complete engineering of fiberglass as of that point. It was a 77 Trojan, but so excuse me. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get in there with my pry bar and chisels, and I'm probably going to rest my shoulder. I had a shoulder surgery about a month ago. My doctor thinks I'm brutal, and I probably am. But the bills don't stop coming, even though you're sick and you're hurt, and that's what separates the men from the boys, is getting hurt and then keeping going. I got a mortgage to pay and a family to support. So anyway, this is how I do it. That's what we got now. I'm gonna get in there. Probably just gonna take the rest of the day off. Maybe download this video, and you guys can get a view on it. And then tomorrow, after I rest my shoulder up, I'll get into knocking the rest of that crap out of there, and I'll show you what it looks like, and then we'll go from there, step by step. We'll get this thing built out to where it's a really nice transom. I mean, something that's going to last this guy for the rest of his life, probably. And that's about it. Okay, see ya. Okay, Evan Rude fans, what I have done is I've gotten the rest of the glass off of this. I've gotten down to bare wood. It had some thicker spots of glass that I had to remove. I just basically did it with a chisel. When I made my initial incision all the way across it, it put a score mark in the thicker glass portions, and tap with a hammer and then a pry from the backside, and it came off rather easily. You can see this is the garbage I was dealing with. This wood is it's gone. It's done. During the construction of this boat, unless this transom was replaced before, someone did some horrible work, misjudgments, and basically neglect for quality. I would like to say, if you look at where this through-hole fitting was, in order to allow, rather than, if you see the length of the thread on this, rather than getting a longer threaded fitting, they took a hole saw and they cut this out so they can get the lock nut down over this. Basically, what that did was that opened the entire transom up, the wood up in the transom, to water intrusion, which is what led to the rest of this. The hardest part about putting wood in the transom and doing a good job is keeping it sealed, keeping it laminated with fiberglass to where water can't get to it. That's why I will never do a wood transom. I'll never do wood anything in a boat because it's too hard to do. I mean, if you just spend a little bit more time, maybe a little bit more money, you can do it entirely in glass, and it turns out to be an excellent piece of craftsmanship that'll last you forever. So anyway, I'm gonna end this as the first part of our series on transom replacement. You can pretty much see what I've got to do with the rest of it. I've got to clean that wood out. Once I get that wood cleaned out, then I'm going to figure out how I'm going to form it out to where when I do pour my glass, because glass is very fiberglass when you mix it up, it's very liquid. And if you have pinholes in your form or your molded area, it's going to run right out those holes. And you could pour this thing and think, oh, I'm filling up the transom, when you're literally filling up your bilge area with fiberglass. So we're going to go through this step by step, as I said before, and make sure that this is a job that I will put my name on and say, yes, I did that. And because I ain't gonna put my name on something that's done either halfway or not done with 100% best quality that can be done. That's something I stand behind and put my name on. It doesn't take that much extra effort to do something that's extremely high quality. It might cost a little bit more. It might take a little more time. But if you have the knowledge, then it's not. That's all it is. Having the knowledge of how to do it right. So that's why I'm here to help you guys out. That's it. End of part 1, transom tear out. Then we're going to start forming our transom in and go from there. Okay, YouTube fans, time for me to have a beer. Bye.